Hey, welcome to my channel where I talk about my dolls, and that's literally it. And this should be a quick and easy video today because in it, I'm just going to be talking about a few of my controversial or unpopular American Girl opinions. Basically, I'm just going to be talking about things that I love, but I find and have found that a lot of other collectors in the community do not like about American Girl. So whenever I talk about these things, I'm going to not be talking about them for the first time. Whenever I do, there are always people who chime in the comments who agree with me that they love them. So I'm like, I just thought that would be a good way to shed some love on some, not issues, but types of or elements about the dolls that people generally don't like. And I'll talk about what I love about it and what people do not love about it and how I can kind of see both sides. And the first controversial opinion, unpopular opinion, is that I happen to love dolls with eyelashes. And I've talked about it many, many times. So I'm just going to do a little comparison of like a doll with eyelashes and then like a doll without, either the exact same apples to apples comparison or just, a doll of the same mold, but not the same doll, like, 108 over here and 82 over here. And so when I first started collecting or getting deeper into collecting, where I was paying more attention to what people say on YouTube and in social media posts, I noticed that people really had beef with dolls with eyelashes. And that's fine. Everybody has their opinion, and I'm not dogging on anyone's opinion. I'm just saying that I really liked it from the beginning. And for me, they look cheerful. Like, I guess they look a little bit more awake. It opens their eyes more having the eyelashes. Maybe I should bring them a little bit closer for you to see what I mean. So this is 108, who's the newer version of 82 beside me. So she was given eyelashes, but other than that, she's pretty much the same doll. Maybe her facial expression changes a little bit, but other than that, same skin tone, same mold, same type of wig, but it's not as, the older one is a little bit nicer. So I'm just letting you judge for yourself if they look better with or without eyelashes. Because I just found, yeah, it looks a little bit like makeup, but they just look more like awake and alert and all that kind of stuff, and happier to me, cheerful, like I said. But now the reason people who don't like it, I've heard so many what they see when they look at it. I've heard so many like different views, and some people say they see it as like wrinkles, like crow's feet, because it's just like lines around their eyes. And the funniest one I heard, and she'll probably know I'm talking about her, her opinion, is that they look like spiders crawling out of their eyeballs. Which is, even though I've had these things said to me, I don't see it like that at all. I see it literally as just like sort of enhanced makeup. And I think it may be because before collecting American Girl, and I still collect Princess Tiana, but I used to collect the Disney princesses. And the limited edition and designer dolls are the same thing. I'll show you what I mean. So this is just one designer doll that I have left, one of many I have left of Tiana. And when I first, is it going to focus on her? I have to cover me. So I don't know if you'll be able to see it too clearly, but she's got rooted eyelashes, not like inserted eyes. They're painted. It's not working, is it? So she's got painted. Hers aren't very extreme because she only has like a wing and an extra eyelash. And then she has the rooted eyelashes over top of it. So these are like inserted into her head. And I remember when I first noticed that the Disney limited edition dolls had painted and rooted eyelashes, and I thought it was kind of redundant. It was like, so why wouldn't they, when they root the eyelashes, not paint the ones that are underneath that they usually have under the, I guess you would say, like the screening of the doll or character. And after I adjusted to it, I thought it looked really dramatic and I started to like it. So I think that's why by the time I got around to American Girl, I already really liked painted lashes with rooted or plastic lashes. I don't know what else you would call it. And so I've shown what it looks like between two dolls who are the exact same, like the same, basically a reissue with eyelashes and a little bit more makeup. And now I'll show you how it looks on two dolls who are the same mold, but not the same doll. Yeah, this is Joss. And so she's the first, obviously, Joss mold doll because it's named after her. And so she doesn't have lashes the way all the dolls that have been, she's the only Joss mold doll without eyelashes. So, for some people, they would see her as looking, her expression being more sweet, not just because the eyelashes, the eyebrows, as you'll see in a second too, are sweeter on her. She's got a bit more of an innocent look. But then the doll I've chosen to compare to her, the doll with eyelashes, is Maritza. And so let me bring her up. So when I first started going on to the American Girl website a lot, particularly looking for Courtney's collection, her pieces, not the doll, because that was where I started. It must have been around the time that World by Us was really like what they were trying to push on there, because every time I opened the website, I saw her face, and I thought that I didn't understand why she was so pretty because I didn't know about the different molds, and I definitely couldn't see the difference between like the classic mold and Joss mold. I was too new. And so I would always look at her and be like, what is it about her that makes her look so pretty? And she almost, to this day, I haven't put my finger on it. She reminds me of someone. It could be an actor or a friend. I don't know, an old friend. And so whenever she would pop up, I would like compare her to the other dolls and be like, what is it about this one that makes her so pretty? And then, then I've discovered the American Girl wiki page, and they talked about the different molds. And I was like, yeah, but she's still so much prettier than, because Joss is the default one you see when you look it up. And I realized it's just that I like how they look with the makeup. And as I've already said, I understand why people don't. But for me, there's just something that is bolder and maybe a little bit more mature. Like, I like the fact that, to me, I know these dolls are supposed to be 9, 10 years old, whatever, but I don't really look at them and put them in an age necessarily. I just see them as dolls, which is really like a really easy thing to say, but it's like, I don't think about them as more than just like, I don't know, like little mannequins or models or whatever like that. So I don't always give them an age. And yeah, if I did think about her age, I guess Maritza would be a little bit older than Joss, but still childlike. And I think I've said enough about the eyelash dolls, and I do hope people let me know if they agree or disagree or whatever, because as I said, when I first started out, people really hated on the eyelashes as far as I could tell within the American Girl community. And it wasn't until I started talking about it in videos on my own channel that people piped up to say that they like eyelashes too. But you can also like both, and I do like both. But I just feel like preferring eyelashes is not a very popular opinion. Controversial might be a little bit dramatic to say that, but definitely unpopular opinion. So let me take away my eyelash girls and get to my next unpopular opinion. I remember when I first started collecting that this group of girls also sparked a lot of debate in the American Girl community, and that was people complaining, I guess would be the right word, or expressing their dislike toward colorful hair dolls. And so I'm just going to start with my doll Violet on screen, because she is a really good example of a doll that just really pops in my collection against her 35 skin tone. And she's got this like two-tone purple hair and her gray eyes, which does make her not the best example to use as a comparison, because the doll that I'm going to compare to that has natural hair color is the same doll, but I've customized her to have natural, like dark, almost black hair and brown eyes. And I'm just putting them here so that you can look at them and say, yeah, I don't like the fantasy hair. I much prefer the natural hair. And that's totally fine. I like them both. That's why I have them both. But one of the things about American Girl, they have so far they have, quite a few molds, and they do as much variation as they possibly can. But there are limits to color combinations between like natural hair colors and natural eye colors. So for me, it's a lot of fun to look around and see these different pops of color within my displays. And as you can see here with Violet, Truly Me 91, I believe, maybe Charlie Me 90, I'm really bad with keeping a lot of them apart, is you can come up with these outfit pieces and create a color story with the dolls, which is a lot of fun when they have colorful hair. And it just so worked out that her wig colors match Corinne's figure skating outfit and accessories. This doll I change around a lot, so I don't need to talk about her outfit. But I will say, like, I would love if they had like a regular doll who looked like this. So just like not Truly Me, but with dark hair, dark eyes. And since they didn't, when my local store put her on sale for $35, it was the perfect opportunity. And that's really the only reason. Otherwise, I would have been happy with just having her in the purple and pink hair and gray eyes. But when the opportunity presented itself, I realized now I can see what she would look like with natural hair, because she's so far the only Sonali mold doll with the darkest skin tone, the 35. And so I think they're a good comparison for that sense, that you can see the difference and determine if you still hate rainbow colored hair, and you might. And then this one is another, so the other rainbow color, I just wanted to show this one, but I don't have a really good comparison like I did with Joss and Maritza, because even though I have so many Josefina mold dolls, I don't have a lot with like the light skin and blue eyes to really make the two dolls look pretty like identical to each other. But I there's a reason I love her being so monochromatic. And before I bring out her counterpart, I'm gonna show that another kind of dolls I used to collect before American Girl were Rainbow High. And what I loved about Rainbow High was not just because they have very like cute face molds. If you're into that sort of thing, you may not like, like lollipop heads, like big heads, small bodies, but I thought they were just like really creative and cute dolls. And I loved that they had really the bright colorful hair, the bright colorful outfit. She was the best. I was looking for a doll who has cobalt blue hair. I know I have her somewhere, but I just couldn't find her for the video, and so I went to Crystal instead with the indigo hair instead of cobalt. So she's gonna have to stand in. And she's custom, so she wouldn't normally have this rainbow colored outfit. She would just have all indigo because that's how the dolls were. And so that's what I really like about this, either Truly Me 90 or 91, whom I've named Jasper. And now that I've explained why I think I had this like nostalgia or this like excitement when I started collecting American Girl, it could satisfy my Rainbow High love, because the quality of Rainbow High, I'll talk about this probably in another video someday, the quality of Rainbow High was really declining. And so it was like my collector heart was looking for something else to like fill that void. And so American Girl checked a lot of boxes. But now to show like a comparison of how a Josefina mold with blue rainbow hair compares to natural hair, I think I already said that I didn't have a perfect match for two dolls, but now that I'm looking at them beside each other, they do look like a pretty good match. So you can kind of gauge how much better you like natural hair over blue hair. And again, anybody is free to weigh in with their thoughts, and I definitely understand why people like the natural hair or would not want to have a single doll with fantasy hair because it wouldn't suit your displays or your collection. But like I said, I like the diversity, the variation. And so these dolls just bring a pop of like fun, and I can create different, because my collection is all about the displays that I make, and they help me, or they provide a different look when I can put in like this big pop of color all of a sudden. So I really love the rainbow hair color dolls, and as I've talked about them randomly on my channel, people have weighed in that they like them too. So I hope others will feel free to say why they don't like them, and just help me understand, because even though I get it, there may be more to it than I'm thinking about. So now let me get the rainbow hair dolls or the colored hair dolls out of the way, and I will go on to my next one. Okay, so if there's one opinion on here that's actually controversial and might even really bug people that I feel this way, it's going to be this one. And that opinion is, when American Girl releases their limited edition dolls, which they've just done very recently, I think today as I'm recording this, they charge probably $50 to $75 for the Swarovski license and the crystals. And I am not just perfectly okay with it, I'm happy that they do that. So let me bring up Elsa, because she's one of the two dolls I recently acquired with the Swarovski crystals all over the dress. And she's also Disney, which makes sense with what I'm about to say. So as I've already mentioned in this video and many videos previously, I used to collect all Disney limited edition princess dolls, not just Princess Tiana. And they were not expensive compared to American Girl, because here's the thing. American Girl Playline dolls are already $125 right now, $135 with the Disney license. And Disney princess dolls, 12-inch dolls, were, at the time the limited edition dolls started, they were probably about $10, $15 at the most. And then their 17-inch dolls, the singing dolls, were, I believe, around $40 at the time they were in stores. They don't make them anymore, though. And then when they started making designer and limited edition dolls, with a higher end polyester, because it's all polyester, no matter what they say, it's like fancier fabrics, it's always polyester. But they would treat it better, give it better hems and line it and things like that, and make it look better. So because they were going from $10 for the 12-inch dolls to like $60 for the designer dolls, it wasn't that big a leap. And $40 to I think about $100 when this all started. This is like, oh, at least 15 years ago, about 15 years ago that it started. Um, so they would just have, this kind of level of quality, well, actually a little bit better quality of the fabrics and the feel of the clothes. But then they would have these like cheap little plastic rhinestones all over the place. And kind of bugged me because I liked a lot of sparkle, and I thought, we're already spending this kind of money. Why not just charge us a little bit more to make them Swarovski? If you have to pay for the license, why not? Why not just do that? But Disney never did do that. To this day, even when they did their platinum dolls, which is a really high end doll, so like a 17-inch doll set, when they first started out, they were like 500 USD, and then they went up to 750 for a set of 2 dolls. So the platinum dolls are really expensive, and they still just come with plastic rhinestones. So because I collected the dolls and I wanted to look even more lush, I would buy the dolls. So as I said, between 60, 100, whatever, because it depended on the primary or secondary market. And I'm just going to show you one of my Tiana dolls. She's a 12-inch doll who, if this were a Playline doll, she would have been at the time $10. And then she was released on the primary market at 60 with all these like cheap plastic rhinestones. So everything around her neck, on her bodice, even the eyes of the frog that she's holding, those are all now Swarovskis because I carefully picked off every rhinestone because, as I said, it's just polyester. So it's like if you pick it off the wrong way, you can put a run in the fabric that goes like all the way down and there's no reversing that. So it was like this stressful thing that I would do, and I would also have to like buy the supplies, which is here. It's like I have this because I did it all the time. I have like a bag of little Swarovski crystals that at this point I can just use for anything in future, because I believe you can't buy Swarovski crystals like this anymore. Swarovski, what they used to be called Swarovski elements. So I think that, doing this, I don't see them where I used to buy them anymore, and the website I used to buy from, they don't exist. So I remember hearing that they don't sell them this way anymore, at least to the public. And so it was just like a lot of work whenever they would release a new 17-inch doll, and I didn't want to remove them from she's not been removed from the package. It's just there's a lid that comes off. So it's like I would have to do all this without removing the doll from the package to do it myself. And then I would feel like the glue that I'm using and the technique I'm using, I'm not like 100% sure that it would stay on there for all time. I mean, it's been years. I've had this on here for years and it's been fine. So maybe that part's wrong. But when it just comes already done, and I know you can't see it on camera, but it looks so nice in person the way it shimmers. And I just think it is definitely, for me, worth the extra price that I know they're like ballooning it just so they can charge as much as they can. But for me, it's like the work's already done. And I think that was actually something that really attracted me to American Girl, because I had remember seeing that their limited edition dolls came with actual Swarovski, and I was like, why isn't everybody making limited edition dolls with plastic rhinestones doing the same thing? So that's my one opinion that I think people are probably going to be annoyed about, because they're like, what if American Girl hears this and they're like, oh, people like it, they're willing to pay this, they're okay with it, when I know most people aren't. Most people would probably, I've only read about people wishing that they didn't come with Swarovski just so that they could not have to pay that license fee and the other thing. So I just want to shove this in here in case anybody does hear it and they're like, oh, good, we'll charge more, because most people don't like the Swarovski elements being on the dolls, because to them it's just like, what's the point? But for me, the person who loves Swarovski, and it's something I had done to my dolls for years. It's just something that I like, and I think that's definitely my most controversial opinion. Well, I guess we'll see with the last one. This next girl has always been pretty, well, not always, since she came out, I mean, has always been pretty infamous within the American Girl community. Even I, as a new collector only a couple years ago, heard so many bad things about her when I got into collecting that I just thought there must have been something more to it. And so my controversial opinion is that Tenny is actually a great doll. And I'll talk a little bit about why I love her, and then I'll talk about why people don't love her, and then I'll kind of talk about the kind of things people were saying when I first got into American Girl. So first of all, one thing I have to love her for is I believe she must have introduced these light brown decal eyes, and whenever these come up on a doll, I just feel like I have to have them. And so not just her eyes were unique at the time she was introduced, but I believe she has a unique freckle pattern, and that freckle or mole above her lip is very unique. And people don't really talk enough about her wig. I'm not crazy about blonde hair, I got to be honest, but as far as having different colored hair or different colors of hair in your collection, she does have a unique wig because it's so full and so long and has like a really cool like wave to it, and she's got this unique little spit curl. I don't know. I think that's a spit curl down by her face there, and even her meat outfit's really cool. I don't always love a meat outfit the best out of the dolls, but I actually had her outfit before I had her, and I think the reason I bought the outfit and not the doll is because when I started, people talked so much smack about this girl. Like, I think it made me hate her. Like, I was like, yeah, you're right. She is ugly. She is the worst doll. Because those are the kinds of things I would hear. Like, I would watch like the history. I would watch people talk about like the history of American Girl, controversies about American Girl, and whenever they talked about Tenny, it would be alongside the conversation of Gabriella. So most of you are going to know what I'm about to say, and just in case there's anyone out there who doesn't know, the year that Gabriella was Girl of the Year, it was almost like she was made out of sympathy because the original intention for the Girl of the Year was Tenny. Because Tenny had this huge collection, she had a movie that was about to be made, she came with a best friend the way the Girls of the Year used to, and he was the first male doll, so that was even more contention because, I mean, that's a different story, but there was even more contention with, using the Kaya sculpt for a boy. And so there was just a lot of negative hype around it at the time. I didn't collect back then, so I only knew about this more so in lore. And the lore was so strong that by the time I got around to collecting, that was the narrative around her, was that she was the worst doll. And I didn't even feel like it was being said in because the collecting community, the American Girl community, had been asking for either more Girls of the Year of color or specifically a Black Girl of the Year because they had never had a Black Girl of the Year before. And so when the Tenny, I think it was images from the Tenny movie started to leak, the fans, the collectors, I don't know if fought back is the right word, but they spread a lot of vitriol about there being another like basic, I hope it's okay to say this, but another like basic white girl, like long blonde hair, freckles, classic mold doll, and people had just had enough of that. So I mean, on the good news is we did, somewhat good news is that we finally did get, I wasn't there yet, but the collectors did finally get Black Girl of the Year. But then the bad news, even with Gabriella, was that she was just a rehash of a Truly Me doll, literally the exact same doll. They just like slapped together this outfit and reused not reused, like what would you call it? Like almost like did a color variant of other pieces that had already been released with other dolls in the past. So it was very obvious to everyone that she was just this weak attempt at responding to the fan base wanting a Black Girl of the Year. And so then because people were trying to rally behind, this is from what I understand, I wasn't there again, but this is kind of what I gleaned from listening to all the rhetoric around these two girls, especially the hatred for Tenny, was that people were trying, really not trying, people really wanted to support Gabriella, and part of that support led to hating Tenny. But then there were people, when they would talk about her, that if they were ever talking about just the different dolls, people would say, oh, I have Tenny in my collection, but I hate her. She's the worst doll. Look at her. I don't know why I have her. And I just felt like, yeah, like I didn't love the classic mold yet, by the way. So it did take her a long time to grow on me. But now that all the molds have grown on me, and I do like, I like to have as much variation as I can, there is stuff that I love about her. And I did instantly love her meat outfit, like I said. And I have another outfit of hers, and I love Logan. And this is another kind of like bonus controversial opinion, is these hands. I love these grippy hands. I love that, I know she was supposed to hold her pick, I believe, except I don't know how thick that pick was to fit between this gap and her thumb and finger, but she was supposed to because of playing the guitar. So she and Logan got special hands. And I actually wish more dolls would get these hands because you can do more with them. I know that these are like the staple and they're iconic as collectors might say, but I do also love, as I said, variation. So I think it would be amazing if they could figure out a way to work these grippy hands into other dolls. and to, you know, even dolls of different shades, because it's like whenever I see like if I ever see another like Tenny or Logan body on the secondary market, you know, like somebody's rebodied their dolls, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna Frankenstein another doll because I love these hands, and I love, because I like my dolls to hold items, and I don't always want to have to use an elastic or like have them hold a purse like this, you know, like they have to keep their arm out, and otherwise it just slide right off. So that's another reason I love Tenny. And I don't. Sometimes I think, is it the sympathy I have for her? But no, she really does have a lot of unique qualities about her. I don't. I don't think any other doll has this specific shade of lip color either. It may look different on my monitor or my camera, so it's not always the best to try to show people on video. But you know, if you ever see her in person, I hope you would give her a chance too, because the last time when I opened her, I did an unboxing when I finally ordered her, and I was like, okay, this girl's unique enough. I'm going to order her now. And I talked about how much, you know, contention has been toward her and how people hate her, like literally hate her. Uh, there were a lot of people who chimed in and said how much they do love her, and you know, maybe time has been forgiving, or it was just like a very loud group. So, and that's kind of why I think I'm jumping a little bit here, but the reason why I want to talk about like controversial opinions is because it's like the controversial opinions about the things I love. And especially when I started collecting the things, how much I heard people hate, that I was like, oh, but I like it. And so it's like, oh, but you know, instead of all those like loud, hateful voices, I can, you know, I can hear from people who are actually loud and in a, like a loving or a positive kind of way. So that's why I especially think like you know, we could have another Black Girl of the Year by now. It's Gabriella's the only Black Girl of the Year we've had. I'm doing the math in my head, yes. And I think people were even expecting, with the Girl of the Year coming out soon, to have her, because it sounds like I'm trying not to look at spoilers like in the videos, but I do know that there's only one doll coming out. There's not going to be her friend, and I don't want to know too much about her friend yet, but I know that people were excited that maybe there was going to be like two girls, no, not two girls of the year, but the Girl of the Year and her Black best friend, but that's not happening. So um, we're still going to have to keep waiting for things like that, I think. And I don't know. I can't speak too much about that or to that, but I can at least, in the meantime, say Tenny has a lot of great qualities, and I know that other people feel that way. So I'd like to hear from people who do love her as well, and love Gabriella, of course, and you know, wish she had gotten better. But I think I've said all my loving, like kumbaya, positive, controversial opinions. But I'm going to do one more. It's just a silly add-on, because there's one that I've talked about so much, and I swear it's not. I'm not. I'm among a small few who feel this way. So I'm gonna come back with like a pet peeve, a negative, a negative opinion. This isn't just me trying to add on a little pet peeve at the end. It's a little bit sneaky because I can use Blair as an example, and I've had Blair for a couple weeks, but no reason to put her in a video aside from having her in the background. And her meat outfit, so the doll as she's supposed to be presented, is a prime example of my pet peeve of American Girl dolls in general. And I'm sure some of you will have figured out already what I'm going to be talking about. But I feel like nobody else talks about this. Nobody else hates this like I hate this. So my controversial, hateful opinion is I hate being able to see the doll's cloth body underneath, or like the joints up here. So whenever there is a doll whose outfit either shows the shoulders or the neck joint, especially the neck joint, I will put some kind of necklace or choker on there and just try to maybe like do her hair so that it covers, or put some kind of like a cardigan or something over here. But her hair is so good, I was able to like make it look nice, that she's fine. This is it. And so a couple people have agreed with me, because I talk about this a lot, and most of you probably like, okay, I'm not watching these videos anymore. I'm sick of hearing about these cloth bodies, but it's just my one little pet peeve to put on at the end. And when I do mention it, a couple people will chime in saying, yeah, they don't like it either. But I think it's actually an unpopular opinion, because I see people so proudly display them with like halter tops and tank tops. And a lot of the outfits come that way, so you can't even help it. Like certain dolls collections, it's just like showing their whole body, and well, not their whole body, sorry, but like showing like, you know, the whole upper part of their upper body. And I'm just like, I'm not collecting that doll. So I know that it's my little hang up that not everybody shares. So that's going to be my negative opinion. And then my loving eyelash dolls is, you know, the first opinion. I'm just going to pull everything up to, in sort of like, what do you call it? In summary, colorful hair dolls, which I love so much. I'm not bringing Elsa back out, so Tiana's gonna have to be my my Swarovski covered doll. And then poor Tenny. And one thing I want to say is you can love Tenny and Gabriella. I mean, you can love any dolls, but I feel like she got a little bit of a bad, what do you call it, a bum rap because of people, kind of blaming her and taking it out on a doll that the company was not doing as good as or doing as well as they could have, or doing as good as they could have, not well. And so now I think this sums up everything. I probably have other opinions, but these are the only these were the ones that I thought of off the top of my head, and I've wanted to get it off my head for a while. So thanks to anyone who listened, and as usual, I'll see you soon in the next one.